thing.
Well, you were gonna do it this time.
No, you're doing the thing.
Why do I always have to do the thing?
You sitting in the
But
middle.
you have that radio voice.
Yeah.
The radio voice?
The
I get it
radio
from my
voice.
dad.
You got the face for radio too.
But here's the problem. Oh, well, thank you, actually. But here's the problem. Every time I go through drive-thrus in America, and I'm always like, can I get an extra ketchup? They always go, yes, ma'am. I don't know why. So I'm always like self-conscious about my radio voice.
You
as
kind of
call
do
it.
have an old lady's voice.
Now that I think, like, you broke my.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
last
No,
time.
yeah. I can't unhear it.
Especially on this phone when like you don't have a reference of my
Yeah.
face. Next time, just pay attention.
Wow, now I can't unhear it.
But it's fine because like most anime, all the tough dudes are voiced by like old Japanese women. So you got that game for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
take
yeah.
that as
You're an old
compliment.
Japanese
You
woman.
know, Japanese woman.
And on-
Potentially.
And on that note, welcome back to those foreign guys, plus the one foreign old lady. Apparently, if you're an audio listener.
We should ask foreigner listeners. For our listeners, leave us a comment on Spotify or Apple Play. Apple Play?
Apple
Google
Music,
Play,
podcast,
Google Play, Apple
Music
Music.
play, whatever.
something.
Something, yeah. Leave us a comment. Does Hunter also? This thing keeps dropping. Does Hunter sound like an old woman? Or a
I
young
hate this
woman?
idea. I just feel like
How do
everyone's
I
gonna
title
comment
this
yes.
thing?
We're struggling today. I think it's the heat.
Yeah, it's the heat.
It's
the
so
heat.
hot.
Definitely.
I don't know why. Korea just has like the longest, hottest summer, and then fall is gonna be like 2 weeks, and then we're going straight into winter, and I'm gonna be complaining because it's too cold.
It's always funny because the Koreans say, "Oh, we have 4 seasons." Yeah, but how long are the seasons?
Non-existent fall.
Non-existent spring.
Spring exists. Wait, spring's a month long, but it's the longest month because of like the fine dust and shit. The Misa
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that is like
Which
they
is
would.
totally all from China.
Oh yeah. All from
Oh.
China. Not.
I don't think we have any Chinese listeners. I think we're okay.
Okay, so it is all.
Nice.
No,
All from Brian's hometown.
I will say that's like the one thing that it's like a trade-off. Like there's not as much pollen I feel like here compared to my hometown.
What do you mean?
My allergies are non-existent here. I don't get allergies
I
here.
am very surprised to hear that, especially because Korea's got like 2 pollen seasons.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think
When
it's as
spring-
bad.
when it has, like,
and
cherry
fall.
blossom
Yeah.
doesn't have like a lot of.
Yeah. All that
Pollen.
yellow shit and all the
Pollen.
pink shit and all the pollen.
I don't think it affects me as much. I don't know why.
Wow.
Like when I'm in America during the spring, like I can't breathe.
Man, I die in Korea. I can't breathe in Korea.
I feel fine. But it's also probably because I just stay inside all the time playing video games.
You do other things with your nose.
I've strengthened it. It's been training. So, what's been going on this week? Any big news in Korea that you guys have heard
Big
about?
news. Yeah, the heat.
Yeah,
Again.
the heat.
Is that literally, I think we all looked for some news that's happening this week. I think that's literally the only thing
We
happening.
had an
this week.
earthquake yesterday.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
get the
yeah,
emergency
yeah.
emergency?
Where were
message?
you when the fucking beepers were beeping?
In a cafe. And now, like, I think I talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, is I turned mine off because of the missile scare.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I don't want to go through that trauma again. It's like, if I'm just going to die, just let me die. I don't need to be warned about it. And so I turned it off, and so I was in the cafe, and literally everyone's phones were going off. And I was like, oh, shit, it's going to happen. It's happening. So I asked somebody, I was like, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh, it's just a little earthquake.
It's a little
Just a
Oh,
little
and it
earthquake.
was a little earthquake. It was like
Yeah.
3 point something.
4.1.
4.1.
It was
Yeah.
4.1.
Where was
I
it?
saw 3.5. Upper Jola? Maybe?
Never even heard of that. Man's just making up words over here.
Yeah. It's the
He's our resident
Jola Bukcho.
geographic
know.
expert.
In the
Yeah,
Jola
yes.
Namdo. See, that's why I say, because I know Jola Namdo, but that's the south of Jola province. So I guess Jola Bukto. The opposite.
The opposite.
Somewhere in Korea, there
Yeah.
was a small, tiny earthquake, but the
And
entire
they decided to send every
Yeah.
single phone an emergency message. Scared the shit out of me. Every fucking time.
Where were you when it went off?
Eating dinner.
What were you eating?
Was eating some fajitas.
Ooh.
Expensive as hell.
Always is.
That is the worst thing about Korea to me, is how expensive Mexican food is.
You mean how expensive Western food is?
That also, yeah. But specifically tacos. Like, I just want to go get my little $2 Tuesday tacos, and it just doesn't
Then
exist. in
tell the
Korea.
Korean government to import more Mexicans.
Dude, there was this one place, we would have to bring it up whenever we talk about like best places to eat in Korea, but it's gone. It's been shut down. It was the best tacos in Korea, hands down.
Couldn't be that good if they shut down.
It was so good. It was absolutely the best. They were just so cheap. I think that was the issue.
So that's why they were the best, because they
Yeah,
were so cheap.
exactly. No, I've decided that I think I'm gonna start a TikTok, guys.
Are you gonna start a TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
they're
own
supporting
personal-
guys.
No, my own personal TikTok.
What you doing on
Okay,
there?
okay.
I haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but the first one I'm filming that I've been working on is good tacos in Korea. I've been to 2 places and I've
I was about
recorded.
to say you've been to like 2 places.
Yeah. Well, so far I've gone to 2 places to film and
Oh,
actually
okay.
like record it. So, but I got to
Wait.
go to the other ones
Oh,
and
okay.
actually like record all of them. I'm trying to get 5. So if you have any, I'm gonna go back to the taco stand in Itaewon
Yeah.
because that one was really good and I
You're
feel like
welcome.
it needs to be featured.
You're welcome.
But yeah, and I changed my TikTok name.
It's not I am the ginger.
It's not
anymore?
I am the ginger anymore. Did you
Oh,
see it? Because
man.
I figured Dogger would be like the first one to know and like ask me
No,
about it.
when I send you like shit, it just says Hunter.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I changed it. I somehow got the TikTok ID, and please, listeners, go follow me.
Don't follow him.
Hunting Korea.
That is going to. I can't even think of a worse name in my life. So for our
Because I'm
viewers,
Hunter.
yeah, no. So for those
And
that
I'm
don't,
That sounds like one of those
Yeah.
YouTube channels where guys try to go to like campuses
The
and pick up
pickup
chicks.
ones?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is and what it sounds like.
But see, when you see my content, it's all gonna be really wholesome and nothing bad.
Okay, sure.
My first TikTok's gonna be about tacos.
Moving along.
Isn't that a word for something?
Moving along. Moving along.
It's a play on words.
Yeah,
But
we'll
if
see.
you want to try those tacos, there's one important thing you'll have to do is you'll have to come to Korea, which is our topic today. I'm getting really good at these segues.
Please do not come to Korea for tacos.
Yeah,
Well,
probably
Come
not
for
a
the
good
all,
idea.
come for all the other delicious
That's what
food
the
we
food
covered
ones
in
at
our
least.
last week video. Yeah,
Oh yeah, true.
last week we covered a lot of Korean food, so come for that.
But if you
But
want to
yeah.
come to Korea, we're here to help you because we are some seasoned veterans.
Oh yeah,
How long have you been in Korea? You've been here
5 years
5
Five.
years.
total.
I'm 4.
and I'm moving towards 6, like 5.5.
So we're on. I feel like when you take all the foreigners and compare like the average amount of time spent in Korea, we're on the upper end.
Oh yeah,
It's not
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of time, but we're definitely on the
oh
upper
yeah.
end.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people was like 2 years tops.
Yeah.
In out, never hear from them again. So sad.
A lot of profiles I've had to delete on Kakao.
Yeah. There is that like yearly cleanse of your cacao. You're like, okay, who's gone back? Who
But
do I
have
not
you
need
ever like
anymore?
kept a friend who had left and then seen their profile change when the, I guess, service provider gives their number to someone new?
No.
One of my friend's numbers became like a very interesting, dodgy looking massage place. And I was
Oh.
like, this is weird. I was like, this is weird. Whose number is this?
I-
And when I click it open and I'm like, oh, this is my friend Travis. And I'm like, this is very weird.
I've had someone add me on Kakao and tell me to take my old number off my banking app. They're like, please change your shit. It's like, oh, okay.
Wait, why?
Because like I had a number, then I went back for a while and then I came back. But I
Yeah.
had the old number connected to my bank. So every time I used my card, they got a message.
they're just like, damn, this guy's fucking flexing on me.
And especially like when we're out partying, it's like you're buying shit at 1, 2 a.m. It's
Yeah.
like, he's getting a message every
Bing,
time.
bing, bing. It's
So
like
finally he got enough, like found my Kakao somehow. And just fucking.
Wow.
But I never changed it. So I think he just called the bank and it's
Oh, probably,
yeah,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah. So just stop doing it. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about coming to Korea because if you're listening to this, either maybe you're in Korea or you've had thoughts about coming to Korea
Yeah.
at some point. We have some very unique perspectives. I feel like we kind of go this route every time we talk about something related to like working in Korea or learning in Korea. So I'm the student.
English teacher.
What did we classify you as?
I think
just a programmer.
instead of that,
Just
I think
the
the
working
easiest
guy.
thing is to talk about our visas because that's what people are going to be
True.
looking at, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the E2 visa, which I guess is, I want to say the most popular. I don't know the numbers, but it's probably
I think in
of
terms
our
of
viewers, people are probably going to be coming on this visa
each-
if they want to stay long term.
that's the teacher.
Yeah,
one.
that's
yeah. Probably the most common
teacher, yeah.
amongst Western
foreigners. Yeah.
And then I'm on D2, which is the student visa. But I've also been on D4, which was kind of similar. We can talk about
D4
the
was the
difference.
job?
Language learning.
Oh,
Language learning.
Language. I was on D10 as well, which was the job
Seeking.
seeking
Yeah.
visa.
That's
yeah.
my next one.
Hey.
I'm moving on up. I've been D4, D2, going up D8.
I don't know. You can work on D2. D10 may not be moving up for you.
Yeah, but D8 it gives me more options.
More
for
hours.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
more hours.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
what I need.
So I'm on an E7, which is like a specialist kind of thing.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Specialist.
The one where the companies need to argue why they
Yeah.
need to employ
Why do you need this foreigner?
Yeah.
He speaks English. That's what most companies say.
Oh,
So like he can communicate with clients in other countries and shit.
Mhm.
Which,
that's basically what I'm going to be trying to
Yeah.
finagle my way into.
but it's one of the hardest to get. I think.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
I had to bring so many documents, get shit signed by the government in my country and shit. It took about 7 months to get mine
Ooh.
Wow.
because of shit in my country. Like,
Gotcha.
You have to get documents apostilled.
Apostles.
Yeah,
Apostilled.
possible.
Yeah.
Which is like a thing they've never heard of in Iceland. It's like, what is that? It's like this one guy in this agency somewhere that does it. So yeah, it took 7 months. And it was like during COVID, so I couldn't like just travel.
And it's
Mm.
expensive.
Yeah.
Apostling documents,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so
It's expensive. And then I have to like FedEx or like DHL.
Mhm.
But hey, I'm here.
Hey.
But compared to our visas, I feel like ours are on the easier ends to get.
Easier. And then if you're South African, I mean, trying to get any kind of visa to another country as a South African
Mm.
can just be a mission. Not because of the requirements, but because of our government. And I don't have to fear getting cancelled by the South African government because I highly doubt they have electricity to be watching this video at the moment.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
That's why I'm not getting back.
And then I mean, like at least for Americans, I think like E2 and D2s are going to be like really easy, like Western countries.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it's predominantly.
If you're from
easy.
an English-speaking Western country, getting an E2 is going to be the easiest visa in terms of working.
Mhm.
I also stayed on the D4 for like almost a couple of years.
That was your first one, right?
Did you,
First one, yeah, I got D4 when I was an exchange student.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back, I just did like a semester of language learning.
Mm.
Then I just paid for another one and didn't go.
Yeah.
But still got the visa.
Wait, you did when exchange students? If you come as an exchange student, are you on a D4 or a D2 visa?
At least we got D4.
Okay, interesting.
It's because I think D2 is only for people who are like actually studying.
Yeah, full time students.
full-time.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that actually. I always thought that exchange students were on D2s.
Actually, I thought so too, but
But honestly, the difference between D2 and D4 is literally nothing.
we couldn't work.
Yeah, that's literally the only difference. I mean,
That's
I'm on a
big,
D2
though.
visa and I still can't work, so there's actually no difference. It feels like there's no difference.
I think that's a
at least.
personal thing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
probably.
that's
Yeah,
a-
definitely.
Work on yourself, baby.
But yeah. There's also a lot of what I did a couple of times is where you go to like Japan for a week. Or
Mm,
like then you come back. It's like, oh, another 3
Reset-
months.
Reset the visa.
yeah.
But the problem with that is you can't get like phone numbers and banking, that kind of stuff.
I mean, you can get phone numbers if you go
Yeah,
to the
like-
dodgy, super expensive. I said dodgy. It's not dodgy. It's just really expensive for what you're
Yeah.
getting. Stores.
We'll kind of. I think we should circle back to that at the end when we can talk about some like cool tips.
Oh yeah.
Tips and tricks.
Sure.
That's like what did they call it in Korean? It's like cool tip.
Cool tip.
Cool tip. I don't know.
Cool
It
tip.
literally
I'll
just
give you
means-
my cool tip.
Oh, it's literally just a Korean slang for wow, good advice.
Cool tip.
Yeah,
It's
cool tip.
English.
Yeah, I know.
You're like it's Korean, so
No, it's
that's
Konglish.
Yeah,
English.
it's Konglish. Okay.
Oh. Konglish with 2 Ks?
What? Anyway, circling back. So let's start with you, Brandon. As a teacher, what was your experience like coming to Korea? Like, what was the process like?
I mean, kind of simple in the sense that I don't have to do anything other than prepare my documents. So they give you a whole list. They want your degree, they want your schooling background and job reference. I don't know why they wanted job references. It's not like they call or anything, you know. I think we all have experiences of Koreans being like, I don't speak English. So I'm like, you want my job reference?
No way
are
they're
you gonna
calling
call
a South African.
a South African job to ask about me? No ways they did that, but they asked for that, you know. So they asked for those sort of things, and because this is, I guess, South African specific, because we have so many different official languages, they do ask for notes from your elementary school and high school to say you were taught in English.
Mhm.
But I've heard, you even if you went to an Afrikaans school, you can just kind of tell them, please say that I was taught in English, and your schools will probably write it for you.
The things that I've heard, like especially in America, is kind of the same thing. That like because you're from an English speaking country, as long as you have a degree, if you're
Yeah.
interested in teaching English in Korea, the only really requirement that I've heard is like as long as you have a degree, doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it's in, you could basically get hired. Is that
Essentially, from
true?
any university, as long as you have a 4-year degree, a bachelor's, you're good to go. Some places do still say, "Oh, we also need a TEFL."
What's a
A
TEFL?
TEFL's the Teach English as a Foreign Language sort of diploma certificate.
Certification?
Yeah, you just kind of do a course online.
Mhm.
It's 100 hours technically, but I sort of didn't study at all and just went to the exam section. And then if you fail, you have other issues.
Gotcha.
all of it's so basic. All of the things are just kind of like, this is your situation. Here are 4 options. Choose which one a good teacher would do. But it's extreme things like hit a kid. Nobody's gonna hit a kid.
I mean,
Oh, I thought,
So you
I thought you meant if you hit it, like that's one of the options. Hit the kid. It's like-
no, yeah. One of the options is hit the kid. It's like don't choose that one. You've got other
is it
options.
relevant to a country? So like if you're in,
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's so simple. You cannot fail a TEFL course. If you do, I think you should
You
not
just
be
should not be a
teaching.
teacher.
You should not be you should not have kids. Nothing to do with kids at all.
The
Yeah.
comparison that I've heard from some of my American friends is that it's kind of just like a driver's license test, where like it gives you like the scenario and like the 4 options. It's like 2 of the options are like clear, like one's like hit the nitro boost, like it's clearly not that
it's
answer.
exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that. But it's even simpler because I feel like for license, sometimes they have like those trick questions where you
Yeah.
choose the more correct options.
Mhm.
For TEFL, it's like 3 really bad options
Mhm.
and one that's like, it's that one. It's
Mhm.
quite clearly that one. So yeah, no problem.
does
And
it cost a
then-
lot?
What's that?
Does it cost a lot?
Yes and no. So Korea doesn't care where you got your TEFL course from. So choose the cheapest.
Oh, it's
one.
not just like one institution.
No, there are so
Okay.
many online institutions and things that sort of say ours is the best. Blah blah. No, nobody gives a shit. Just pay for the cheapest, get your diploma, and bada bing, bada boom, come over. That said, I do recommend going through an agency if your plan is to come and teach at a public school.
I've heard that some people like I think I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about agencies.
No,
though.
no. That's why I said if your plan is to come to a public school.
Okay.
If your plan is to look for a private academy, a Hagwon, please, I highly urge people. Let me look at the camera. Which camera?
You're this one over here.
Do your research. Don't trust agencies, especially when they say things like, pay me first and I'll secure your job, or give me some sort of cut of your first paycheck or first X paychecks. When it comes to a private academy, they will hire directly. So you can just sort of, it's easy to Google and see a lot of websites that come up. I'm not sure if Dave's ESL Cafe is still running, but that used to be a big one back in the day.
Yes, I heard of
Otherwise,
that
yeah,
once, yeah.
yeah. And otherwise, again, Facebook has a lot of groups with useful information where you can do your own research. But unless you're coming here for a public school, do your own work.
It's also like agencies usually make their money from
That's
the companies hiring the agency
Exactly
to find people,
it.
not from the people.
That's exactly it.
So
So,
then, let me ask, like, why you clarify for public schools it's okay?
because for public schools, you're gonna work with the government. You're gonna get a government contract. It's everything is standardized when it comes to a public school. So the amount of agencies that are gonna cheat you are so far and few in between with a public school because they don't have any grounds to do anything weird.
What would you recommend people look into more, a public school or a private school?
It honestly depends on what kind of person you are. A big thing for most people are the working hours. So if you just want the standard, 9 to 5 kind of job, public school is going to be infinitely better. But some people like sort of weirder Hagwon hours, which can just vary depending on the type of Hagwon you're looking at.
And when you say Hagwon, you're talking about private
Private
schools.
academy, yeah, private academies. And then the other one is also technically going directly to a Hagwon, you can make more money coming in because the public school is very rigid. So it depends on your certain values and what you're looking to get out of it. It's impossible for me to say this one is the better option. It honestly depends on you, which is why I always urge people, and not just people who want to come to Korea. If you want to go to China, Japan, fucking do research, please.
I think that'll be a resounding theme throughout
Yeah,
all of
for
our
all of
answers
ours,
is
right?
do your research because you don't want to get screwed over or anything like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, but I mean, either way, public school, Hagwon, a lot of the contracts are very similar.
Yeah,
They
isn't it kind of like for a first year teacher?
yeah, for a
it's kinda
first year
like a
teacher,
standard.
it's very standardized for the most part. More often than not, they are gonna provide you with accommodation or give you a stipend every month. As a first time comer, please take their accommodation. You don't want to be moving to a country and having to worry about, oh well, how do I find a house? How do I find a place to stay? And most of the places are gonna be sort of just your standard Korean 1 bedroom apartment type thing.
The moldy wallpaper.
The moldy wallpaper.
I will say I've just always heard bad things about those like first year teacher rooms.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. So my first place I stayed at was a sort of small. I don't even know what to call it. Just it's not an apartment building. It's
Like a one room.
It was
like
a
a
one. No, it
studio
was a
almost?
1 room studio, but I can't describe the building it was in. It was
Oh.
just really small but really cozy. Kind of. If I stretched my arms out like this, I could touch the wall to wall in my kitchen,
Oh.
and my kitchen was also the entrance. So yeah, it was just
It's like 15 square meters.
yeah, something like that. But after my first year, towards the end of the year, I was like, hey, so I like the school. I like staying in Korea. Can I get a bigger apartment? And then they were like, oh, why? But you just, one guy. I was like, yeah, but I got a girlfriend now and I just like to cook. That was my other selling point. I told them,
Yeah.
I love cooking. I just want a kitchen. I said, make a small bedroom. I just want a kitchen I can breathe in. And then they were like, okay. So me and my co-teacher just went around apartment hunting and we looked at a couple of places and we found a really cool 2 bedroom, huge kitchen. I was like, damn.
Nice.
And it was cheap
Cheap-ish.
ish. Yeah, it was a little more expensive, and my school liked me a lot, so they kind of went like, "This is a little outside of our budget, but sure."
And like when you come as an English teacher, you're getting a lot of help from your school in terms of like legal stuff and stuff like that?
I think it's probably more if you're like at a school versus a Hagwon.
Oh, I guess
Yes.
that's what I mean. Like whatever I guess your experience is more of a private school situation, but are they pretty helpful with you when it comes to like
Oh, my
your
main
visa stuff?
my main
First,
was
yeah.
I've done private and
Oh,
public.
okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
you did
No,
public.
so public was the first thing I've done, and it's entirely dependent on your sort of co-teacher, whoever the school signs you up with. Sometimes they can be incredibly helpful, which in my case they were. Other times they just can be dicks, and then you kind of shit out of luck. But for the most part, once a year, there's not a lot you still need. So if you are sort of independent, you can get by without their help a lot. But if they do help and they are helpful, it just makes your life incredibly easy. So
Yeah.
once you get over here, you're pretty much set in the routine. They take you to the bank to get you set up. They take you to the not embassy, but the immigration, spots to get your ARC card.
Okay.
They help you set up a cell phone plan. Yeah, so for the most part, they do all of those things with you.
Yeah.
But after that ends, then it sort of depends. Do they want to help you, or do they just, I've done my best. The foreigner is on his
Yeah,
own now.
you're on your own
You know,
now.
yeah. I've given them a bank account, ID and a phone. What more do you need, sort of a thing. So yeah.
And how often do you have to renew your stuff as a E2?
once a year,
Once a year?
yes,
That's
Oh,
pretty
it's
rough.
1 year?
1 year.
Is that because you can only sign 1 year contracts with the work, or
Yes, I have heard of some Hagwons giving 2 year contracts, but that's
mythical?
Rare.
yeah, mythical. I've never met someone
Yeah.
who's had that, but I've heard of
It's
these
like everyone
little
hears
things.
the stories, but no
Yeah.
one's actually seen it. Like,
Yeah, so you can you renew once a year. I think about with your 5 months left or 4 months left of your contract, your school will kind of be like, hey, do you want to stay? What's your plan?
Mhm.
And then you say yes, and they prepare all the documents for renewal. You say no, and you do whatever you get planned to do.
is the renewal process pretty easy?
So simple.
Okay.
You just rock up with your new contract, and because you're on an E2 already, they kind of just say, okay, thank you.
Cool. Sounds nice.
Sounds
No,
very nice.
renewals for E2 is super
For
simple.
E7 is
Yeah,
Jesus,
for
so many
E7 I've heard
documents.
it's different.
Well, do we want to hop over to E7s or do we want to go through the school visas next?
The school visas. Let's
Sure.
go from E to E.
You want to go E to
E to
E?
E to
E to
E.
E.
Okay. So, like as we said before, the E7 is a little bit more complicated. It's like a few steps. I think it's way harder to find a job in like my field or
Mhm.
or like a similar field, like tech industry, because Koreans are very advanced in tech, I
Mhm.
guess. So I think if you are a developer or a programmer who wants to come here, I think it's probably the easiest way is to find like a front end developer job. So you're like making websites or apps, that kind of stuff. 'Cause Korean websites, as we all know, are not very
What do you mean logging in with the Internet Explorer?
yeah and all that kind of shit. So it's a kind of a hitting field right now. It's like they're hiring other people because they want to make their stuff more international.
Mhm.
So, but for me, like I was just over here like being a digital nomad. If you guys know what that is, I was just working remotely, like a few gigs here and there, just kind of chilling.
With Korean companies?
No, just
or-
with foreign
okay,
companies.
foreign
Yeah.
companies.
What visa were
But
you using at the time?
You can't say
Okay,
that.
cut that off. Cut that off.
Not a D4.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, not a D4.
So yeah, I was a nomad.
Gotcha.
So, but then I just randomly got a message on LinkedIn. I have no idea why. Because if you open up your LinkedIn profile here, so like you talked about Facebook and shit
Yeah.
before, LinkedIn is the way to go for those kind of jobs here. So if you just open up your profile to like recruiters and that kind of stuff, you'll start getting messages. If you speak Korean,
Mhm.
you'll be more approachable and that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So I just got a random DM on LinkedIn one day and I was like, "Oh, you want to come for an interview?" I was like, "Oh, sure." And then they were at the company like, "Oh, everybody speaks English." I was like, "Oh, nice."
You said it's difficult, and I talk about how easy this was. The man just opened up his LinkedIn account, and suddenly,
Yeah, I was gonna
Hey.
say.
No, I'm a very special
Hey.
case. I don't know why, but
Okay, so this is not the like
it's
the
not
normal
the normal
experience.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
everybody's who I've talked to are like, "What? How?" Like I applied for like 300 jobs. But I just got lucky, I guess. And then I went for an interview. They said everyone speaks English, but then I come to the interview. Just that one guy who I spoke to spoke English, but it went well. Then I got offered a job. But then like I had to get documents from Iceland, but being in Korea at the time was kind of difficult because as I said before, I had to get them. What did you call it?
Apostled.
Apostilled.
The official government stamp to say this is legitimate shit.
So being over here and China, because you have to have at least 1 year experience in your field, like working for
Yeah,
another
working
company, like
yeah.
at least 1 year experience. You have to have like your college degree and kind of your high school degree. So I had to get all those diplomas. I had to get like a signed document from my old job saying that I worked there for a year. I had to show pay stubs, like to confirm
Oh,
that I
wow.
actually already
What?
worked
Oh,
there.
I'm fucked.
So it's like, and trying to do that from here was very hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't really finish all that shit, and then COVID hit,
Mhm.
and so I had to go back and do all that stuff for a few months because it took so long to get all this stuff from Iceland. And then finally, I sent it all over here with like DHL and stuff, and got my visa finally.
So when you got hired by the company, they just like waited for you to get all that stuff done before hiring you?
Yeah,
Wow.
Were you
I can't even imagine like
were you working for them while waiting for the visa?
yeah, but as a contractor from
Okay,
another
gotcha,
country, so
yeah.
it's like they could pay me through to
Makes
Iceland,
sense.
to
To
my
Iceland,
Icelandic bank kind
yeah,
of shit.
other
So
means.
it was all legal.
Yeah.
Government, don't worry, it was all legal. So yeah, but then I finally, because like sending in different currency and that kind of shit gets expensive, like doing those what's it called, those Swift
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the Swift
the
transfers.
transfers and
yeah.
shit. It's like so it's like it was taking a pay cut essentially.
Mhm.
But like finally we got it done. I moved back to Korea, and it's been 2 years. Yeah, I just renewed my visa again.
When it comes to accommodation, do they assist in any way?
If I needed to, but I was lucky. I had already when I was digital nomading, I had already got set up with my girlfriend. So
Do they have like when you get hired at a place like that, do they have someone who's kind of like your point guy to like help
Yeah,
you out
usually.
with stuff?
it's usually like this one guy, and still he's still at my company, so it's like when I had to renew my visa, like he got all the documents together, so it was like fine. But I had to get like a show my taxes for the last 2 years, like since I got my visa to renew it, and like taxes, like some worker, like it's a lot of documents.
Do you do your own taxes? I'm curious about this on an E7 because on an E2, most of your schools do your taxes for you. They make you sign up for this Korean, what High Korea?
Yeah, High Korean and
Yeah,
home
and
tax.
the home tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you sort of sign up for those things, and they just at a school they just say, "Give me your login details," which sounds really dodgy because you don't want to just hand over your login details
Yeah.
for your taxes. But at the same time, fuck it, they pay me. They know what I'm making
It's-
and not making.
So it depends on the company because my guy,
Yeah,
my
I saw
guy's
a
like-
mosquito just
yeah, I
flying.
saw it too.
my guy's very nice. So he's like, okay, I'll give you these documents. Just go to the home tax website, put this shit in, just press next, and it's done.
Okay,
So it's like medium assistance, I guess. But he doesn't log into my stuff, but just
okay.
tells me what button to click because it's fucking complicated. It's so old school.
Yeah, High Korea is one of those websites you have to use Internet Explorer. I feel like.
No, they fixed it now.
Oh, have they?
Because
Oh,
like
they-
I haven't used
they,
it
I-
lately,
yeah,
so.
it's-
they officially stopped supporting Internet Explorer, like
Oh.
Microsoft has.
Yeah.
So they had to like fix it,
Finally.
and you don't have that ActiveX installs and shit anymore.
Ugh,
Oh, the amount of installations you need to.
we've talked about this before.
I know. It's just.
This is an episode 1 throwback.
Which is why I always recommend just using the app.
Yeah.
But I guess the tax doesn't have an app.
No.
Probably not. No. They say, hey, come on, move to Korea as a programmer and start making apps.
So is the E7 visa, is that specifically a tech visa, like a tech working visa,
Not
or?
Not just a tech, but I guess most of the jobs are in
Most
the
of
tech
the
field.
jobs are in. Because I was also looking at a lot of E7 visas. When I was on my job seeking visa, just deciding what the hell I want to do in my future. The easier it sounds weird because you just explained how difficult it is, but the easiest way to get an E7 visa is going to be through tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just
And-
because there's
yeah.
that many jobs. that
Yeah,
you can do it,
and
yeah.
I think it's technically called like the professional skilled worker visa,
Yeah,
or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of people also like who work for cosmetic brands and stuff, or
Mhm.
like in marketing, like
Marketing's another big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as translations. So I think if you don't even need that high of a topic score to apply for the translation jobs. I think you just need level 4, which is
really.
essentially lower advanced or
Yeah.
advanced to low, depending on which. It's the flat bang the middle, right?
Mhm.
So
It's way lower than expected.
yeah, but a lot of the translation jobs just get eaten up by Gyopos anyways.
Mm.
So if you as a foreigner can get that job, okay, well, I don't know what you've done, but congrats.
Have you taken the topic?
No.
Okay.
I'm thinking about doing it maybe next year.
You
or
want? I
something.
was gonna say you want to do it together.
Maybe, but I don't want to
Sign
wanna-
up. Sign
we
ups.
could- we
Sign
could all
ups
do
in
it.
3 days.
No,
You guys
man,
wanna sign
there's
up?
so
Nah,
many.
not this.
There's
Not
so
this.
many.
Too busy. It's too hot.
So your job didn't require you to have any kind of like Korean speaking certification or anything
no,
like
no.
that.
Because like he told me in the interview, it's like, oh, we all speak English, and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Turned out to be
Not so true.
sorry, my coworkers, if you're listening, but
Look, they speak English. They speak English well.
they know all the tech words. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they know the jargon.
Yeah,
The lingo.
technobabble.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't require me. But we just interview. We did like half English, half Korean. So it was like it worked out.
Okay.
So if there was someone like listening that was looking into finding an E7 job or a job that would require an E7 visa in Korea, what would you recommend is like the I guess like things that they should watch out for? Like, because Brandon mentioned that like going through agencies and stuff like that is something that maybe a naive person might find and be like, oh, this will be an easy way to do it. Is there something dangerous like that happens in your area?
Like I wouldn't say like I'm not an expert because I got very lucky.
Mhm.
And it's like when I went to the interview, they just clicked. So I never had any other interviews. But yeah, like there are a lot of recruiters in tech, but they'll never like you said, charge you for anything. So if
Mhm.
someone is trying to charge you to help you look for a job, say no.
You should always say no.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're coming to, like I said, also, if you go to China or Japan, man, even in your own country.
Yeah. People are like, pay me and then I'll
Pay
find
me
you
and I'll
something.
find- yeah, no.
But what I would say, like, if you have any Korean skill, like, put it on your LinkedIn profile, and like, if you went to a Korean school, because I went for an exchange semester here. So I put that on my like thing. So like, oh, this guy is not only just someone who wants to come work here. He's already like kind of integrated into the society.
Did you make your LinkedIn profile in Korean? Like, did you write it in Korean or English?
In English, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But I had like, I think it has my Korean language. 'Cause I had like
Gotcha.
something in Korean.
I might need you to help me spice mine up a little bit then, because whatever you did, I need I need that on mine.
And then I also want to ask, do you have a Korean resume? Because I know Korean resumes are very differently structured.
Yeah, I did not
Compared
I
to
did-
Western
I
stuff.
didn't do
Okay,
it.
see,
Because when I was doing that, I was not like kind of looking for a job. I just let's open it up and see what happens. And then I'm still working at the same company all these years later. But so I didn't have a Korean resume, but I recommend doing it. Like you have to put the picture and everything.
yeah, the
Yeah.
picture and
Maybe you can explain what the difference between Korean resumes and English resumes are.
Just if you're ugly, they're not gonna. Hire
but luckily
there's a little bit
you
more.
can Photoshop that shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's big. Just Photoshop your face. Look cute.
you. And wait, what's there more?
Oh yeah, there's like, I think the biggest one is like, for me, because I have a Korean resume. But when you have an English resume, it's usually your name, your contact information, your work experience, your education, blah 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 blah. Like, these were my duties. I did this at this place for this amount of time. And in Korea, it's, tell me about yourself. What are your hopes and dreams? What's your goal in working with this company? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's like a pre-interview on your resume.
The amount
So
of
it's like-
personal essays I've seen people writing for their Korean resumes, I was like,
So it's like a cover letter in your resume.
Yes.
yes, several
But,
different cover letters.
yeah. Usually there's like prompts that they have. So they'll be like, literally it'll be like, tell me where you see yourself in 5 years, or like, what kind of dreams do you have with this career path, or something like that. And the thing that I've heard from Koreans is like, when you write it, it's not because I feel like when you write a cover letter, it's very factual. It's like, here's what I can do, here's what I think I can bring to the company, blah 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 blah. But like when you write it in Korean, or like the ones that I've read, it's just like, my passion for this is so strong and blah blah blah. It's like very dramatic.
It's like Chat
No,
GPT.
no, and that's
Yeah.
exactly why Koreans are now using ChatGPT to write their resumes,
Mhm.
because they're so tired of faking it.
BSing, yeah.
Yeah. So now ChatGPT will BS for you.
Because like in Western companies, at least in tech, they just want that one-page resume.
Yep.
If you have a two-page, they're not gonna read the second page. So if you have it like, oh, in high school, I volunteered at a, I don't know, lemonade stand. Just don't put that shit on.
Yeah.
But many people do. But
Look,
like,
what if I had a very successful lemonade stand?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of thing that I think you would see in a Korean resume, where they'd be like, ever since I was 5, I've had a passion for marketing. When I started this lemonade stand, and I grew it from selling 2 cups a day to 5 cups a day. And like, I hate it. I hate it so much, because I've written a few like that. It feels so cringe. I'm just like, this would never work in America.
you're applying like a part-time job at a bar.
Yeah,
I'm so
basically.
passionate about drinks.
Well,
so passionate,
I
I
am
drink.
passionate. I'm
so
passionate about
passionate, I drink
drinking.
every night.
But yeah, so I didn't have to write any of that stuff. So my tips are kind of, yeah, just don't get scammed.
Don't get
Yeah.
scammed. Nice.
And
Speaking about getting scammed,
Oh no, I don't want to talk about it. I'll give the minimal information I want to give is, I got scammed. I have a little bit of money.
Hey,
So,
maybe we can talk about it on the Patreon episode.
yeah, maybe on the Patreon episode.
Help him get his money back.
Yeah. It wasn't much. It was just a little bit.
But yeah, so that's my experience with getting an E7. Yeah, I just got it renewed for 2 years.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's usually 2 years for the E7. From what I've seen, so it's nice. I only have to go every 2 years to that fucking hell.
don't talk about that place.
At least it's close to you.
No, they moved it.
Did they?
Yeah,
Wait,
Where's it at now?
it's now
the one
in,
towards Gimpo, right?
yeah, now it's like in
Like
Gimpo.
right next to the
What?
airport.
Oh my
Or-
god!
It used
it's
to be
so
like-
far.
Yeah.
It used to be like so close to my house.
Yeah,
but-
Omokyo, right?
yeah.
I hated going there because I lived like for some reason Korea does it, or Seoul does it in such a weird way, where it's like, even though you're closer to the one in Jongno, like you can live like right next to it, you're still districted for the other one.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how districts work, Hunter. If you
I
live
know.
and if you live on the
But
edge of a
why
district,
put it so close?
fuck.
But like, yeah, they should redistrict those.
Yeah, I'm literally 10 minutes away from the Jongno one. Like, why can I not go there? Why do I have to go an hour on the train to go to Omokyo? It's
What's
terrible.
that called? Gerrymandering, huh?
Yeah. I benefited from it for so long.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Now I'm.
But actually, the last time I went, the officer was pretty chill. Because I was missing one document out of like 40. So he's like, oh, just I'll take this now and just email it to me when you go.
Oh, that's nice.
I will say my last time there, or second last time technically, was nice-ish in the sense that I had called the hotline first to check if what I was doing was okay, and what I was doing was I was applying for my E2 visa, but then also immediately hopping on a plane to Japan. So I was like, "Can I do that?" And the guy on the phone was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Cool." But when I got there and I gave everything to the woman, and she was like, "Okay, it's cool," and I was like, "So what do I do about immigration when I leave the country?" And she was like, "Whoa, you can't do that. You can't apply for an E2
And then leave.
in the country and then leave." And I was like, "But I was told that on the phone." And she was like, "Oh shit." So she was like just calling around. And normally they would kind of just be like, "Screw the foreigner," you know.
Yeah.
But in this case, she was like, "Oh, let's see what she can do." And she bypassed the long waiting system for me. And she said, "When you come back, you can come straight here." And then that's
Oh,
when they'll
nice.
do my process. So I didn't have to rebook a 3 month long wait for my
Mhm.
visa application.
I mean, that's what I've always heard. Is it's just, I mean, it's just a roll of the dice. It's just whichever person you get. If they're having a good day, you might be in luck, and if they're having a bad day, they're gonna screw you over.
And like, we've also talked about like you should not talk Korean there because they're
Mhm.
like they'll say everything in Korean, but if you do, they are more helpful.
if you
Yes.
speak Korean,
Yeah.
I always bring a Korean person with me.
I went last time. I went by myself. It was fine.
Yeah, I went the last time I went with Lauren, and I spoke Korean against my better judgment, but maybe that helped. But yeah, it's one of the two. You either wanna be comfortable-ish speaking Korean, or just pretend like you don't even say 안녕하세요. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Hello.
English all the way. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
I'll use my old lady voice.
And
Hi.
and when they speak to you in
Denied.
Korean, just pretend like you understand absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my experience with that. Took a while, but we got there in the end.
So Hunter, what was your immigration experience like getting the D2 visa?
I feel like it was like pretty in the middle of y'all's. I feel like from your story, it sounded like yours was pretty difficult with all the documents and
Yeah,
stuff.
just because of all the documents.
Yeah, and it sounds like yours was pretty on the easier side because the school kind of helps you a
Yeah,
lot
the
with.
You just kind of the difficult part depends on how easy or difficult it is in your own country
Yeah.
to get documents. But
But also it could have just been
Yeah.
me and Iceland being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, in America, it was pretty simple. The hard thing I think about America is if you don't live close to a Korean embassy, because most of my stuff I had to go to the Korean embassy to do, which was a 2-hour drive to go to the city that had a Korean embassy. So I would have to drive.
I'll trump you.
Say again?
My embassy is in Norway.
What?
wait, that's
Wait.
wait a minute. That's another country.
Yeah.
I don't know Europe so
There's
well,
not a
but-
Korean embassy in Iceland.
Oh.
I don't
So-
know Europe so
So
well.
I have to
but-
like send shit by mail, like my passport and stuff,
Ah.
to Norway. And they have to.
Okay, yeah, you do trump me.
Dang.
but- And honestly, like I didn't even really mind it because it was usually just like a fun day. I could drive down with my dad or something like that, and we go do some stuff. But no, but going there, it was pretty simple. I think I had to go 3 times total because I was always missing documents. The hard part for me was that like I didn't graduate from like a normal high school. I guess I went to like a
the
specialized
specialized.
high
Ah,
school.
the special high school.
Specialized.
It all makes sense now.
Did you wear a helmet a lot?
No.
On the bus?
Tinfoil.
No.
Was the bus kind of short?
All makes sense. Now.
I got to sit in front of a computer every day and just do all my classes online. It was really nice. We can talk about that later.
choose
but-
the right shapes.
But because
Wait,
of that,
you really
like,
did go to special.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
No, it wasn't
Why
a
is this the
special
first time
school.
we heard
Okay,
about
okay,
it?
okay.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But because of that, like my transcripts were a little weird because like the high school I graduated from was anyway. All of that aside, I just had difficulty getting transcripts, and since I hadn't really gone to college in America, I didn't have like a college transcript to show, so I had to kind of figure out ways around it, basically. But once you had all the documents, it was just like your college transcript or your high school transcript, plus you have to like show you have a certain amount of money in the bank to like sustain you
yeah.
overseas. Oh, for reference, also I'm talking about the D4 visa, which is the
Yeah.
language learning visa, which is usually only 6 months long. I think you can do it for 3 months. Also,
I think they usually just give you 6 months.
give you the
Cannot
6
do it
months.
for 3 months unless you're already living here.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's some weird thing like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I came for 6 months at first, But it was pretty simple. I just went to the place and handed them the documents, and they looked at it. And after about a week, they called me and were like, "Hey, we need this document." So I'd go back or fax it to them, and then they just said approved and gave me the little thing on my passport, and I was good to go.
I just want to go back to the money part because I think that's something we had both skipped over, and I think it's just nice to talk about it.
Mhm.
How much did you need in your bank account?
So
for
for the 6-month visa, I want to say it was $10,000. Yeah.
6 months?
I didn't have to do it for the E7 because I'm already, it's a pretty paying field, I guess. But when I got my D4 also, I had to show, I think back then it was like, when I was an exchange student, it was like 8K maybe,
Okay.
8,000.
To come on an E2 visa, you don't technically need to show because you're coming
Mhm.
here for a job, but they do sort of recommend coming here with at least 2K just to get you by your first
Yeah.
month,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That makes sense. But for us, since like essentially since D4 since you can't work, you have to have proof of balance of $10,000, which which
So I've heard people just, hey, can you lend me like 5,000 for a day?
yeah.
You
So
just print out your statement and then you sign it back.
Yeah.
so that's what I did. So
yeah.
because I mean like I had money, but I didn't have $10,000. So I just my dad put some money in my account for like a few days. I just got a little statement and then put it back. But no, but I mean it was pretty simple in that situation. The harder part was the D2 visa. So I transferred from a language school to a university. So I went from D4 to D2, and that one was so much harder because I had to go home. I had to get like my college transcript apostoled or whatever.
It's a hard fucking
It
word.
is so hard. I had to have 20,000 in a bank account this time.
Oh, hello.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and
Just sustain you for like the whole time.
that's I guess the idea is that, or at least for like, because it's only on a 2-year renewal.
Mhm.
So I guess the idea is for 2 years. Because when I went to go renew it, I thought I was going to have to also have 20,000 again, and it even says like on the required documents that you need proof of balance, and I just didn't bring it because I was just like, let's hope not. And so one of those things like better ask forgiveness than permission. So I just went and was like, here's all my documents, and she's like looked through them, and then she was like, okay, yeah, you're good. I was like, okay. And that's what I mean about like sometimes you just get lucky with the person on who it is, and they don't ride you on that. But no, the whole apostling situation was what made it so hard.
Yeah,
Because
same for me.
at least in America, it was like $100 a document to just get it signed to say,
Just some fucking guy sitting in his back office with like a stamp.
yeah.
Boom.
I thought about it. I was like, I should have gone into that business. he probably makes bank just to sit there
To
and
be
go
fair,
apostoled.
if shit happens, he gets blamed for it. I
Actually,
guess.
no.
Really?
So there's sort of a weird, crummy situation in South Africa. Our just official document procedures and processes are notoriously bad, and because of that, you get shit. You send shit, you get it stamped. It takes 6 months to get back to you. By the time now, 6 months later, you can't use that shit. And if you still submit that shit, especially to Korea, and they find some sort of discrepancy, they don't give a shit. They just like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's trying to cheat the system, banned for 5 years.
But yeah, mine was pretty simple. The hard part for me was I had no help from my school. My school never helped me at all. When I went to the language school, they were pretty helpful. There was like an office I could go to, and they would kind of give you all the things that you need.
Mhm.
My university, and I think it's a my university thing, our student center is just absolutely terrible. Like I go in and I ask a question, and the guy at the front desk was just like, I don't know. Let me call someone. And I spent an hour waiting for him to call people just for him to tell me, yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows. How are you supposed to do that?
Yeah, at Sogang they're pretty good. They also speak English, I think, in the at least language center.
Yeah, I mean, my language center too, he spoke English, but that's the question I had, just no one had an answer for it. So I was like, okay, cool, awesome, thanks. But I've heard like at Yonsei and Sogong and I guess the other kind of bigger schools, I think their student help programs are a little bit better. But yeah, if you go to one of these smaller schools, it's pretty rough. Like I don't even
What's
have
your
a
school again, Hunter?
Sejong
Oh,
University.
I know where I'm linking this video. Sejong University is gonna watch.
But like
Everybody's yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even have a counselor. Like, I don't even know who I would go to ask. Like, my question that I was asking them about was about how many credits I needed to graduate.
Hmm?
Yeah. And the guy couldn't tell me.
Just
He couldn't
pass
tell
all
me-
your courses.
What?
Just pass all your courses.
Yeah, I passed all my courses, but like because they don't offer like all the as many classes and stuff like that, I was worried like, oh, how many credits am I gonna need? And they couldn't even tell me how many credits I needed. That was like the weirdest thing. I was like, I feel like this is like the number one question you would have at a university. But he was just like, nope, I can't
And
figure
it
it.
wasn't on the website or anything.
I mean, like, I know how many total credits I need, but like, I don't know. It's split between like your major courses and your liberal arts courses and stuff. So it's like, how many major arts courses do I need to graduate? And he was like, nope, we don't
So
know.
wait, when you sign up or like enroll each year, don't you? Who do you talk to? Do you just do that all by yourself?
Just do it all by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's like I've there are people that I have emailed and I've like especially professors and stuff and I've been like, can you help me get in contact with this person? And like one of my professors finally last year was like, okay, message this person, maybe they can help you. And I emailed them and they were like, you need to go to the student center. And I was like, I went to the student center. They don't know the answer. And they're like, okay, well I don't know the answer either. And it's like, okay,
So,
awesome.
So you're just free balling it.
Pretty much. Like all my forms and stuff like that. Anytime I've had to renew my visa, I have to do it all on my own. The crazy part is that the exchange students get so much help. Like there are like designated people to like help them with the exchange student processes, but
think it's
not
bec-
for the full time
I
students.
think it's because the school gets money.
Yeah, I was gonna say
for
the
them.
schools
Yeah.
From
have
the
sort of
government.
partnerships and different
Mhm.
agreements with other schools, so it's
Yeah.
more beneficial. to
So I
help.
think if you're coming as an exchange student, you'll be fine because from my hearing and from things I've been told, if you're an exchange student, the school will help you like take care of everything. Like they baby you pretty much. But if you're a full time student and you're coming on your own,
Shit out of luck.
you're shit out of luck. You
Oh, that's
better
good.
find
Welcome to the real world.
yeah, find a friend that can help you. That's all. That's the best advice I can give you. Luckily, like our friend James, like when I first came to Korea, I met him pretty quickly, and he helped me with so much immigration stuff, and it was really helpful. So honestly, that's the best advice I can give: is find a Korean friend that will help you.
That's a lot of questions I see on Reddit. People are like, I need a Korean friend to help me with this.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, okay, it's the number one tip you can give.
yeah.
anyone.
Honestly, if there was like a group of Koreans out there that you need a new business idea, just make a business of like going like pay me per hour, and I will go to the immigration with you and like help you. That would be a sick business.
That would be a cool business.
James.
Honestly,
James,
yeah.
yeah,
James
get in
should
there.
start it. And in terms of like warnings, I feel like there's not really like anything to kind of warn people about with school stuff. Just like
Choose the right school.
choose the right school. If you're not gonna get help at school, you should probably know that ahead of time. I mean, I think the biggest mistake I made was I didn't really like reach out to other people who were going to my school or try to find other
Yeah.
people who were going to my school to like ask them about the school first.
So if you were going to do something like that, how would you find people like that?
Ooh, that's really hard. I'm not really sure. For me, all the people I know, I just meet through friends. I mean, I'm sure there are Facebook groups out there. The problem is I'm not a boomer, so I don't use Facebook.
Oof, this guy's so toxic.
But there are a lot of like exchange program groups, and I know like even my school has a Facebook group for exchange students, but people haven't posted in there since 2014. So that was pretty useless to me. I'm sure other schools have it better, so I would say probably, like you said, check in on Facebook, even though it sounds kind of boomery. Facebook
Nobody
groups
uses
are so
Facebook,
helpful.
But Facebook groups are just
Yeah.
That's an app idea.
Yeah, but I know there are
Hell
some
no.
like international student groups on there as well that are just like general international
Yeah.
students. So I'm sure you could go in there and be like, "Hey, does anybody here go to Sejong University? Can you help me out with this kind of thing?" But I feel like most of my trips to immigration and stuff have been pretty simple, like renewal wise, because there's like a machine at the base of my school. You just go in and you print your like transcript and your like attendance record, I guess.
Okay.
And you just go in and
Oh,
you
that's
just hand
nice.
it to them and say, "Hey, look, I'm still enrolled. I have classes for next semester," and boom, and they just approve it.
Nice
So
and quick.
I've never run into issues. Yeah.
And what about accommodation? I think you skipped over that one.
There's options. I haven't taken any of those options. There's always like dormitories that you can pay for monthly. But they're a little expensive, I feel like.
Don't they also have like curfew?
Curfews and like there's a lot of rules. You usually have a roommate. There's a lot of rules. I didn't like that. So obviously I just went and found my own house. When I came as a language school student, I was like right across from the university. And since I was only going to be here for 6 months, and what I would recommend anyone doing if you're coming here short term is a Goshiwan.
Aha, and we've spoken about that before.
What is a Goshiwan?
But what is a Goshiwan
A
for those who have missed
Goshiwan
it?
is a broom closet with a bed.
Harry Potter?
Yeah, you're basically going to live like Harry Potter for 6 months. It's a very, very small room, probably the size of like your average American bathroom. But it's got a bed, a little closet, usually a mini fridge, a desk, an internet, and some storage space. If you're coming to Korea short term, don't bring a lot of stuff. Just
Yeah,
bring
definitely not.
the clothes that you need, your party outfits, and your going out outfits, some pajamas. don't buy all the other stuff here. Don't bring pillows. Don't bring mattress covers or anything like that. Buy it all here, and yeah, just live frugally in your home for a while, and use all your extra money to go out and party. Because that's what I did.
Sound advice. Thank you. Mm-mm-mm.
No, but not just party, but like doing other things like traveling and stuff like that. But
Don't waste your money on the accommodation.
yeah, because I think we've talked about this before. Is like, especially with America, it's very different. Probably, I would assume in your countries also is that the way they do the down deposits here or key money for apartments is very different. So in America, usually you have to pay a down deposit on your apartment or your house, and it's usually your first month or your first and last
Yeah,
month's
it's like
rent.
it's related to how much you're paying for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
Korea,
it's like 2-3 months.
yeah.
maybe.
So like
Really?
if your rent's $1,000, usually your down deposit is like $2,000. But in Korea, no matter what your rent is, there can be some pretty high key deposits. I mean, the lowest I've ever done was a $5,000 deposit.
Yeah.
On a place.
That's my current one. I think it's 5,000. But I've seen like in my neighborhood, we're like, I want a little bit bigger place. Down payment's always like
10K, 20K.
20, 30,
Yeah,
40.
my down payment at the moment is 10, and we're looking to move next year or within the next, and damn, for the kind of places we want, we have to bump it up to like 15, 20.
Yeah, and I was about to say, to clarify, these like 10, 15, 20Ks, these are like the low ends
Yeah, no,
of down deposits.
I was on the low end.
These are like the Western
So
affordable
it is kind of
ones.
two systems. It's like Wolse and then
Wolse and
Chonse.
Chonse.
Chonse,
yeah.
yeah.
And Chonse is like you are kind of just buying the apartment.
but not
not
owning
buying
it. You buy it, but you don't own it.
Yeah. I think this would be a good topic to go into for another
No,
episode.
this is an
Yeah.
entire episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is.
But just, I would say, if you're coming short term, definitely don't look for an apartment because, I mean, if you're,
unless you're rich.
I mean, yeah, if you got the money for it, then like whatever. But if you're trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna travel a lot and have a good time, like just don't bother with it. Like don't bother with that huge down deposit. Get a small little place like a Goshi one. There's no down deposits. It's usually like $350 to like $400 a month, which is pretty affordable.
You get free rice.
Yeah, you get free rice and kimchi and ramen
Ooh.
sometimes, which is pretty good. But like if you're coming to Korea for 6 months, you're gonna go out, you're gonna party, you're gonna
You're
be
never
doing
at
things.
home.
You're
Yeah,
never at
never
home. So that was my big thing. Is like I'm not gonna be at home anyway. Like the size of my house doesn't matter. I just need a place to lay my head when I'm not.
And you
sober.
barely do that, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to sit, like it wasn't a Koshi one, but it was a really small place, like a closet I lived in when I was an exchange student, and I just spent my alone time in a PC bunk. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's an internet cafe.
Mm-mm.
The only downside of Goshi ones is you do have to be extremely quiet when you're inside.
That's why I chose the like a little bit more for that kind of more private place.
Yeah, I actually got a message the other day from my Goshi one owner. He was like, "You're being too loud. People are complaining. You need to be quiet, or we have to kick you out."
What were we doing?
Playing League of Legends.
Of course.
It was when
Say
we were.
no
It's when we were
more.
playing. We were
We were
playing
playing
League of
the.
Legends.
Me and Dogger were playing last week,
Oh.
and I was just like, "Oh my God, Dogger, you got him!" I got a text message. He was like, "Hey, you're."
He was so quiet after that.
Yeah, yeah. I was being so loud. Then I was like, "Hey guys, I gotta be really quiet while we're playing this game."
So that is a downside.
Yeah, it is a downside,
Goshi.
and it's not really a downside to me, but like you can't bring guests over either. Like obviously, it's so small. You're not bringing people over to like watch movies or
You're not
drink
impressing
anyway.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not impressing anyone, friends or otherwise, with your tiny little Goshi one room. So those are like the two downsides.
But I
but-
was gonna say the sound thing. I think is sort of universal in Korea, though. A lot of apartments
They
and
don't have
places
thick
do
walls.
have those, no
or
thick
floors.
walls and sort of expect you to be quiet. That said, my current place, man, my neighbor's always having parties, and I'm just like, dude, invite me. Just knock on the wall, let me in.
Mm.
My landlord, he always goes to sleep with his TV on, but he's kind of half deaf. So
It's just so loud.
yeah, it's so loud. So when I go to sleep, I hear his TV like every
Nice.
night. But one night I didn't hear his TV, and I was so worried. Like, is he alive?
Is he alive?
So thank God. The next morning I went outside. I saw him outside. I was like, okay, he's alive. Like, I thought about asking him, why didn't you watch TV last night?
You'd have been like, "What? How did you know?"
But yeah, it's a downside of
Yeah.
most Korean places, I guess.
Bad soundproofing. But you
So,
get used to it.
apart from the visas, maybe a last round of kind of things to watch out for, just in general moving
In
to
general.
Korea.
Oh, there's so much to kind of cover and not cover. I mean, that said, a lot of the things you can Google about, but it's all outdated. I still see some shit like, oh, bring deodorant as a foreigner. Oh, man,
Yeah,
Koreans don't need it, but the places stock it.
Yeah.
not gonna
So,
lie.
you
In
know.
2016, it was a problem.
Couldn't find it anywhere.
No. But now it's
Okay, yeah,
it's
no.
everywhere.
These
Yeah.
days you don't
Just
have
go
to,
to
unless you have, your own specialized natural deodorant that's made from
Bamboo.
beeswax and bamboo.
now you just go to Olive Young or something.
But yeah,
Yeah.
just go to an Olive Young, you'll be good.
Yep.
I think it's like, but one thing is like you can't really do anything until you get your ARC,
Yeah.
Yes, that's what.
which is your alien registration card, or it's not called ARC anymore. It's called
I don't know what they call it.
I think it's still called
we
ARC.
still call it ARC.
ARC, but it's not an alien
Yeah.
registration card anymore.
They've changed
Foreign
it.
registration.
Foreign
something,
registration
yeah.
card. Yeah.
But it's like you have to wait to get a phone, the phone number, and
Mhm.
internet and everything until you get your ARC.
So basically, your ARC is your ID card,
Yeah.
basically in Korea. And like when you first get here, whether you're a student or working or whatever, they will be like, okay, you need to go get your ARC within 90 days,
Yeah.
and you have to go to the immigration and give them your like where you're living and your phone number if
It
you
should
have
be like
one,
the
and-
second thing you do when you come here.
Yeah.
Go to your house
And-
and then next day go to the.
But it
immigration.
takes so long to get it sometimes. It took me like 2 months to get mine.
Wait, really?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, if you don't have your ARC, you can't go and get a phone number.
Yeah.
And so I was just living on like data for my phone from like the rechargeable data. And the worst thing about it all, the absolute worst one, was I couldn't make IDs for anything in Korea.
Oh,
can't make
yeah. No,
accounts.
that sucks. Yeah.
League of Legends.
So you need a phone number. to
On,
do
on
that.
Neighbor.
the ARC thing, actually, maybe it's changed, but I think it's similar to immigration where it depends on the people you're dealing with. So, for example, I was actually able to open a bank account without having my ARC. They just said, when you get it, please come here
Yes,
first time.
I was able to get my bank
and
account.
so
open,
I got my
but
bank
not-
account. I got a phone plan.
Hmm.
I essentially got everything without an ARC.
You got a phone
But-
without
Plan as
ARC?
well?
I was in the middle of the Bundus.
Okay.
I was in a much smaller town all the way
Mhm.
down south.
The only
So,
foreigner
yeah,
in the village.
The only foreigner in my section of the town,
Mhm.
As you go into different sections, each foreigner has their their neighborhood. But yeah, so hello.
Yeah, one of our cameras died. It's
That's
okay.
okay.
But yeah, that was actually gonna be mine. Was just as fast as you can get your ARC because it makes life so much easier.
Oh, it took me I think like 2 weeks.
Yeah, mine took 2 weeks.
Well, show offs.
And don't you get like the temporary one?
Yeah, that's what I took to the bank.
I might have had a temporary one, but I don't think I could make accounts anything with it.
Yeah, because you need I think the real one usually when you get your phone number.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Yep. That was my advice. Anything else?
Just my advice: research.
Yep.
No, but
Anything
you
and
just said
everything.
all the
Yeah, yeah.
information is kind of outdated.
No, not all the information, but I'll
So maybe you should
just
make a
think-
website.
No,
like Brandon's
research. Oh, well, maybe that's a nice one.
foreigner
Hello.
foreigner tips.
Brandon's
Foreigner
ESL
tips.
Cafe.
Oh, Brandon's ESL Cafe. Hello. But it's like
Pay me.
it's a joint venture, dogger. You, me. We can rule.
I'll make it. You post.
We can, we can rule the foreign market in in Korea. But like, as much as I said it was, some of the things are outdated. Just think a little as well.
Yeah.
For example, when you see that maybe the article I saw was written in 2016, in which case maybe things have changed. But just do your research in terms of not just the good things, but the bad things.
Closing question for the both of you because it doesn't really affect me. What about using Craigslist as a way to find jobs?
Ooh, unless you are a nice 20 to 30-year-old attractive woman looking to work at a host bar where you can feel free to leave whenever you feel like leaving, don't use Craigslist.
Okay, so you're saying for teacher jobs, Craigslist is probably not the place to work.
Yeah. There are a lot of job availabilities, but I wouldn't trust it because not from personal experience, but things that I've heard from other people.
Okay.
A lot of the dodgy hug ones use Craigslist.
Not gonna lie, I never knew Craigslist was like a real thing.
Yep.
Because like you've heard so many like shit about it.
No,
like,
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of like a myth. Then I was like, I opened the website and I was like, oh, it's actually a thing.
But
Yeah.
I just used it for the first time in Korea when I moved to Seoul.
So
just to see, is this a thing?
Yeah.
And then most of the jobs I saw on there were 20
Yeah.
to 30-year-old young women.
I will say for students, if you're looking for part-time work, it's not a bad place.
Okay.
It's a little bit different for makeup, but You have to be very careful about what you're clicking on.
Yeah.
But
If it's
usually in the food
If it's
category,
a karaoke, don't.
Yeah.
not karaoke. But if you like in the food category and like some other places, there's some actual real part-time jobs. I found 2 of mine that way. So
Okay, pretty cool.
yeah. they're pretty nice. I was just curious because when you go on there, if you sort just by all jobs, 98% of it's all teaching jobs. So I was just like, I wonder if those are actually like legit or not. So
But they also
you-
are websites you can Google blacklist Hagwons or blacklist private academies Korea, and that's where you'll sort of see people who had unbelievably awful experiences at certain Hagwons where they'll name the Hagwons as well, and that way you can sort of check,
It's,
you know.
it's anonymous, right?
Yeah,
Because you can get sued.
yeah,
for shit.
no, all
Yeah.
the posts are anonymous, so
nice.
but you can sort of trust them to have having been vetted.
What website was that?
I don't know the exact name, but you can search blacklisted Hagwons Korea.
Not Black Korea.
Search that for something else. But please use Google Incognito and a VPN if you're in Korea.
Yeah, especially. All right, you guys have anything else? Any closing words?
Nope.
I miss Bryant.
Where is Brian?
Yeah, we didn't even acknowledge that.
Knowledge of- well, oh shit, Brian. Hey, long time.
He's just
no
been
see.
really quiet this episode.
No, I'm Brian now. Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah. For audio
Where's
listeners,
your weed story?
for audio listeners, Bryant is not here.
Yes.
So that's why you haven't heard him talking. He's not just lazy.
He's in Singapore at the moment.
Was it China first or Singapore?
China,
Just for like a
China for a
layover.
layover.
Oh, it's
connecting
China.
Singapore.
But I think he said he wanted to stay in China for a day.
They did.
So China first.
Yeah.
Don't say layover.
Sorry. China first. Now
So
they're
sorry.
Singapore. So Brian, if you're listening to this, we miss you. Come back home,
I'm not gonna
He'll
say I
be
miss
back
him.
next
He'll be
week.
back next week.
baby.
He'll be back next
He'll
week.
be back in Korea next week. I don't know if he'll be
He'll
on the
be
podcast
back next
next
week.
week.
He'll be back next week.
Dogger came. Bryant will come.
True. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. This was episode 17.
No,
Gotta
you
say
said
the number.
it.
You gotta say the number
Okay,
every
you said
time.
it.
But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.